The Queen Mary. The Queen Mary was a ship that had sailed in the 90s. It served for the soldiers in World War II. And the Queen Mary was a ship. It was a vintage ship. And during World War II, the Queen Mary was known as the fastest ship in the entire world. It was also called Queen of the Ocean. And when World War started, they painted the Queen Mary gray. And that's where it got its nickname, the Gray Ghost. And that ship was a very beautiful ship. It was painted with the red steam, the boilers on top. It was a steamship, the bow, everything through it. And it's haunting. The hauntings, there's no bad spirits except for in room B340. Room B340 is a very tragic room. I'm not going to tell you the story behind it. It's very gross and disgusting. But there's also another haunted room. I just don't remember the room number. But both rooms were on B deck. And the haunting in the first class pool. I'll tell you about that one. There's this little girl named Jackie. She was a little girl around the age 5 or 6 or 5. Around 5 or 8. And this little girl was wanting to see this little girl had died tragically in a pool, had drowned in a pool. And then when she died, she decided to go to the first class and upgrade herself. But there's a rumor that if you sing her favorite song, London Bridge, she will appear and sing it with you. But she's also a chatty type. And you can create conversation with her, but don't try that. But overall, there's no bad energy in the ship. Like, I'm not trying to be all, don't go on the Queen Mary, it's haunted. I'm trying to be all, like, just because there's ghosts, there's not negative energy around you. There's good energy around you. There's energy that's like fun energy. Like good energy. Like when I mean energy, I mean like good in them. About that. But also the Queen Mary is a very good ship. The Queen Mary is a very nice ship. It was a nice, beautiful, beautiful ship. And the Queen Mary, like I told you, when World War started, there was these bunks in the third class theater. They removed all the tables and chairs and put it to bunks for the soldiers. The soldiers got like an 8-hour sleep. And then when they woke up, they had to get out of their bunks because someone was either waiting, get on, or it was the end of their sleep shift. And then they had their windows painted so the light from the ship wouldn't give it away at night. So, the Queen Mary was a very good ship. And there was something about it that gave me that flow of learning into it. And the ship Queen Mary. Like I said, it served in World War II, carrying soldiers. And that fateful night of World War II, or day, the Queen Mary was making it swerve every 15 minutes because the German had submarines that go down and shoot torpedoes. So when one was fired, they would hopefully be in another spot. The torpedoes don't have tracking on them. You fire them, and they go. They were never fired upon. They had never had an experience with a torpedo. So since they were so valuable as a ship, other ships would come up to meet them. And one ship got too close that they collided together. And that ship was the HMS or HMH Curacao. And the Curacao was a hospital ship. When it collided, 103 men were killed all on the Curacao. And they were taking on water, but not too much water. And when you go down to the front of the deck, but the collision happened 15 stories down from the front bow of the ship. So when the paranormal investigators come down to the bow of the ship, they could hear metal twisting and water gushing in. That was from the accident. And the HMA Curacao had sunk in the process. And people get an uneasy feeling down by their only propeller that had brought them to Long Beach, California. It was their only propeller. So people get an uneasy feeling because people had died in the spinning propeller. Yeah. And there's this haunted doll that moves, that stands up and sits down by itself. No one moves it. No one goes in to move it. The first class pool, they had taken out the water. It's closed because the reason why is because pool, like the number for the shallow end has to be at least 3 feet. 3 feet for their shallow end. But since they were a ship, their shallow end was 6 feet and their deep end was 12 feet. So the pool was very deep in the ship. And it was filled with salt water. They took out the salt water and you have little lights. And they have lights that have water. You can't go in, so no one goes in there to change the time on the clock in there. So the clock isn't very accurate. But they're docked there forever. It's a hotel and a museum. So if you want to visit the Queen Mary, Long Beach, California, I'm gonna go. Peace.
Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a